Afternoon once again, Cadis here. So if you've been watching some of my videos, you've been realizing that I've been explaining what Warhammer is, what we're doing. Now we're going to kind of look at the hobby end of it, just so you kind of give an idea of why I go a little insane sometimes in OCD. So basically we're going to show you how to assemble a model really fast. I'll just have my in-between stages here, just for reference. So the kits come like on these sprues, okay, and then you see all the little different bits that you can use to make options of each of your little soldiers, so how they look. There's always a limiting factor, so you can't keep cheating and make more than you should, although some of us are pretty clever and can do that regardless. So the limiting factor for Marines here are torsos. So sometimes I might get extra legs, but I only have so many torsos. Although I think on this brew it's actually more legs are the limiting factor. Normal Marines, it used to be torsos. So what you do is you cut them out of the sprue. I like to use just shears, nice clippers. That'll do it. And then you just hopefully you start from the feet and work your way up to the head. So basically I'll just cut it out here. Very tricky to do this one-handed. And then once it's cut from the sprue, you need to clean it, because there are, like I mentioned before in one of my videos, mold lines. So you can see the bit of the stub there, and not only mold lines from where the mold's met, but they're sometimes venting to allow gas and air to escape when it cools, and that's called flashing, which might be like a thicker layer of plastic. These don't really have much flashing, other than that bit there, so that's not too bad. So then you would take something like an X-Acto knife, like this one right here, which is a Games Workshop variant. It's apparently aerodynamic with the handle, and you would then basically take your knife here and you would cut away the mold lines. I'm not going to do it one-handed. Very dangerous with a knife this sharp, but you get the idea. Next step is you would glue the legs to this base right here. Okay. Now I do things in a very strange order. I like to, once I get the legs on, to just do the sand right away, just to save time later. You don't necessarily need to decorate the base like that, but I like to do that just to get it out of the way. It's one of the most annoying steps for me. Plus it allows me to figure out how I want to dynamically pose the model. So if I want them to look a certain direction or be in a certain moment like they're fighting someone, then it allows me to visualize it easier. Most people don't do that. They don't do that until the model's already built and then they're about to paint it. Some people even do it after they paint the model, so difference there. So then once you would get the legs like this, then you would start building on the other pieces, and then so you would get something like this, which, you know, he's got his torso and head placed on it in addition. Oops, my thumb's in the way. I'm working backwards. And so once he's like that, then you got to figure out, well, what weapons does he want, or are there any bits that you're going to glue on, like here I put on his sword. Since he's not going to be carrying a sword, I wanted to still represent that he had one, because he's going to be carrying a big gun. So, and eventually that'll lead to the finished product of, you know, here's a completed scout with sword and pistol. So that's how that works. You just go through each step. Not too hard, pretty easy. Then you get a little more complicated stuff like the bigger monsters and vehicles, and I'll show those later. I might even do a step-by-step on one of those kits during a review. But that is how you put one of these together, and you can see Typical Marine could be legs, shoulder pads, the torso, which is 2 pieces, front and back, arms, another 2 pieces, although sometimes the arms might be split, so it could be 3 to 4 pieces. Then you have the head, which is yet another piece, and then you have a backpack, and then some form of weapon, or 2 weapons, depending if you're doing a close combat guy or not. And some of the weapons could be multiple pieces. So one Marine can turn into like 12 pieces. So it goes a little crazy, and you have to clean each one of those, and some of them are very tiny. So, fun stuff. So I will leave you with that. Goodbye.